Here's what I do every time I'm going to stalk. And I want you to pay attention because it matters greatly. It works. Works really, really well. Shit. Whenever this has happened to you, it's happened to me. Walking through the woods as quiet as you can be, trying to maintain your balance. And sometimes you have to pause because there's movement or sound, and you're stuck here in this balancing on one leg act. And you eventually lose your balance and make this really loud noise. So I got 3 tips for you. Now, I used to be a personal trainer, and we talked about biomechanics and efficiency and movement quite a bit. When it comes to stability, when we're doing lunges or walking, it's easier to balance if we're taking semi-wide steps. Now that's exaggerated. The opposite of that would be walking on a kind of straight line, like a tightrope. When you're on a tightrope, when one foot's in front of the other, the only balance you have is forward and back. You don't have side arms or posts to help you balance. So as you're tipping, there's nothing there. So if I were to take a wider step, I have forward balance and sideways balance. So this is clearly the smarter route. Or is it? This may not be better because as you're stalking, if you see game, hear game, for some reason you have to stop and you have your weight shifted to the side, eventually you're going to tip. Versus if you're walking on a tightrope, put one foot in front of the other, balance is harder to establish, but you can pause anytime you want. Walking in a straight line makes it a little easier to pause, but harder to balance. Walking with a little bit of a sidestep, easier to balance, harder to pause. Here's what I do every time I'm going to stalk. And I want you to pay attention because it matters greatly. It works. Works really, really well. This is called Proprioceptive Neuromuscular Facilitation, also known as PNF. Sounds fancy. It is fancy, but it's real. Proprioceptive, meaning proprioception, is your body's awareness of its own self in space. For example, if I want to grab my hat, I don't have to look at my hat. I close my eyes and know it's right here. My nose, right here. My chin's right here. I don't need to look. I just know where my body is. Neuro, brain, muscular, muscle. It's all those things kind of combined in that relationship it holds. Okay. In short, it has to do with balance. But balance has a lot to do with multiple neurons firing into tiny, tiny muscles. We can prime our brains to have better balance before we hit the woods. So we all have less likelihood that we're going to fail or less likelihood that we're going to fall. First, I want to sell you on this. I want you to try this. I want you to pick a foot. I want you to hop, land on one foot, and see how long it takes you to establish balance. My balance is pretty good, so there we go, I'm balanced. Now, watch, I'm going to do it again. A lot faster. Again. Balance. My brain's massaging the dendrites and the synapses, the grooves in my brain. Basically, I'm warming up my brain with my body. So there's your little evidence. You try it too. Give it a shot. You may think I'm crazy. And maybe you're great at balance. If you ask 10 people to do this, I would assume 8 or 9 or 10 out of 10 would improve with each repetition. So here's what I do right before I hit the woods. This is walking. This isn't sitting in a tree stand. This is just walking quietly. I do 2 exercises. Do hip swings, forward and lateral. A lot of arm movement. Just like I'm walking, this is how we walk and run. Right leg goes back, right hand goes forward. So I just do this. I do this 8 times. And if I am going to be walking and then sitting in a tree stand, I'll go ahead on the last one and do a little hip stretch. Open this up, because when we're sitting in our tree stand, we're in this closed position for so long, and all of a sudden, like, oh, my hips are tight. Oh, my back is tight. I got to drag this deer out, this bear out. Oh. It just takes a couple seconds. So I'll do the right side, left side, 8 reps, and then lateral. When we're doing our laterals, it's not here. That's just forward and lateral. I want almost like a kick in a little golf ball off your grounded foot. There it is. It's 8 of these. I may make this look easy. It's a little harder than you think, but once you get that down, 8 reps, takes about 30 seconds each side. You're talking 2 minutes or less, and it could be the difference between you creeping up on your game versus scaring your game away. To me, there's no brainer. That's worth it.